Let's talk about sports reporting. We all know sports have great mass appeal. Many newspapers have special sports pages and there are specialists to write sports stories. Readers of the sports pages of a newspaper are generally the most knowledgeable and critical readers of all. They know a lot about sport themselves and they expect a sports reporter to know at least as much. So, in case of sports reporting, everything you write as a journalist should be accurate. You will never get away with the inaccuracy in sports reporting. Sports readers and listeners demand accuracy and sound judgment. They expect the sports reporter to know when to praise a performance and when to criticize, and when to offer support and when to call for changes. Sports enthusiasts like to play sport and they like to watch sport. They also like to discuss past performances and future prospect. They like to talk about the decision which the team manager or coach has made and should make. And they also want to pass judgment on sports administrators, referees, and umpires. Sports enthusiasts are dedicated. They often read the sports pages before any other part of a newspaper. Sport is an important part of many societies. It is a way of stimulating the development of people's bodies in the same way that education stimulates the development of their minds. So, in short, sports reporting need to contain a great deal of accurate and timely information. So, while covering news regarding to sports, the most important part of any sports coverage is the result. People will buy a newspaper or listen to a sports bulletin just to find the results of a game in their. So, you should try to carry the result of every sporting event which may interest some of your readers or listeners as soon as possible after the event. Then, in your report, you must include details regarding the league tables. If the sport is organized in a competitive league, then each week's result will affect the league table. A team which has won may move higher up to the table, while another team which has lost may slip down the league table. It is important to followers of any league to know the latest position of each team, so you must include those informations. And the audience require a report of a match, which is a description of what really happened, with an analysis of why it happened. As a journalist or as a reporter, you can explain the way in which one team's tactics prevented the other team from playing well and winning the trophy. So the reader or listener come to understand the sport better. Then the listeners expecting or readers expecting from you is previews. The previews are discussion of a sporting fixture which is about to take place and considering what is especially interesting about it. And this kind of previews is for only for the big teams and big matches because their fans are eagerly waiting to read or listen to anything that is written or broadcast about their favorite team. Then the sport reporting must cover major sport related news. Those may include injuries to the top players or changes in personnel or a player changing teams, a coach being sacked, a manager retiring, or plans to build a new facilities, plan to implement new tactics, a new sponsor or any other financial development in that particular club or changes in the rules of administration of that particular sport. These are all newses and you have to report these are fact. And the other fact is your audiences expect are sport features. Top sportsmen and sportswomen are people, and each one may be worth a feature. You can talk to them about the sacrifices which they have to make to become so much good and efficient, and the kind of training schedule they have. These are all good topic for writing sport features. Even the humble performers may provide a good content for good features. A newspaper should cover the sports in which the public is more interested. It should give most space to the most popular sport, the next most space to the second most popular sport, and so on. And once you have decided which sports are popular and which are worthy or which are of news value, you have to plan the reporting. You must arrange for people, you must assign tasks to different reporters for information. Sports journalism is all about 20% reporting and 80% organizing. Arrange a correspondent for each sport you want to cover. Tell them what you want from them and the deadline by which they have to submit their report. Always keep in mind, it is better to have an incomplete set of results on time than to have a complete set of results late because it's sports. And as a reporter, sports journalist, you must know the style in which the report should be written, how to present the result. And you have to include the most interesting result, the outstanding personal performance. Let's take the example of reporting simple scores. For many team sport, it is enough just to give the basic score at the top of the report. For example, soccer, rugby, basketball, volleyball, hockey, etc. etc. And in some teams, a number of sports require detailed result, including performance by a number of individuals. This includes team sports where the team performance is a total of the individual performance, like cricket or baseball. Some sports are typically played in a tournament. This can mean a succession of individual matches where the loser is eliminated and the winner moves on to the next round to meet another winner. Tennis, table tennis, badminton, squash, boxing, and fencing are often organized in this kind of tournament. So in either case, the tournament may last for several days. In a weekly newspaper, you must be able to carry the results of the whole tournament in one issue. In a daily newspaper, you will need to carry the latest result of each day. And whichever sports event you report, you will need to follow some guidelines. You have to check the rules and scoring system. And you will get the organizing body of that particular sport will probably have a booklet giving the rules. And then you have to understand the significance of that event. Is this a final or a semi-final or a qualifying match, whatever. And as a reporter, you have to find a comfortable place with a good view from which to watch if you are doing live reporting or something. And if you do not know the name of the player, you can find a printed program or a printed book list indicating the names of the players. And if you are doing a live report, you have to watch everything that happens carefully and passionately. Keep in mind, the bigger and more popular a sport or a club, the more significance attached to news stories related to them. So while covering sports, you must be curious, you must be keen enough to report the most newsworthy and most adrenaline rushing part of that particular is all about tough competitions and rivalry, and you have to keep that energy, keep that spirit in your reporting too. Thank you.